Thank you so very much. And thanks everybody for joining. I'm Candace Kuss and I'm working with Lions, and Lions is the parent company for the Cannes Lion Festival and the Cannes Lion Awards, among many other things. So I'm going to share my screen, but I'm hoping that the questions or comments or anything that you want to add to our discussion, please pop it in the chat, because there can be either questions along the way or definitely take some time at the end. The things that I am going to focus on is these three trends that I'm calling everything is PR, which maybe some of you will agree with. Another, which I call Stronger Together, is about partnerships and coalitions. And then last but not least is something that we've certainly seen year after year building and growing, and that is storytelling technology, meaning it couldn't have been done without these platforms, or the platforms are part of the story, taking like almost a character role, or just very integral. So I will be showing mostly examples. So a lot of what we're going to cover is in the case studies from the award-winning work. I will kick it off by saying we're going to look at a wider range maybe of different levels of Lions, because if you want to check out all the Grand Prix winners, so much has been written about it online. There's quite a lot of good information, and go see the videos. You can go read about the different Grand Prix. So I'll touch on a couple, but I'm not going to do just Grand Prix. We're going to look at some other, hopefully little unexpected, or maybe just a few charming cases. Because one of the other things that Lions does is the advisory group, which is our consulting arm, does an official debrief. There is a product that many clients, many agencies might engage with, which is a full debrief on the actual festival and highlighting the most important trends coming out of the data, and also has quite a lot of information from the different juries and what their in kind of analytics side to how these things happen. So starting with trend number one, this is about ideas that earn attention. And again, we've seen a lot of this through multiple years, but it can be anything in terms of a deliverable. It can be an ad, a billboard, a bus poster, it can be something, but it's actually PR at the heart, meaning it's an idea that's going to earn attention. It's looking and successfully gathering earned media, social media, word of mouth, and a lot of the stuff that we as PR professionals would know a lot about. The jury president for the most recent Lions in June, Gail, has this nice quote. So it is really something that she's seeing across all categories, not just the PR Lion, but multiple Lion categories. So I'm capturing this, which is really a nice way to look at it. The one I'm going to kick off with really caught my eye, and I have to say, I knew this was a winner because as an American, I'm paying a lot of attention to the Super Bowl, and this was an ad that ran in the Super Bowl, very unexpected. It was only 5 seconds long, but designed to get buzz, designed to get earned media attention, which they certainly did.
In February 2021, Reddit was the talk of the Super Bowl. We were the talk of the financial world.
This story is stunning.
We are watching this day trading frenzy fueled by investors using their phones and communicating on Reddit, a Reddit message board called Wall Street Bets.
Reddit. With a once-in-a-lifetime event happening before our eyes, we had to seize the moment. And since our community challenged the status quo, we did too, in the one place nobody expected.
Finally here, Super Bowl 55.
But how could we stand out with no budget? No celebrities, and only a week to go before the game. Damn it! By crashing your party.
What the f is this, y'all?
Our 5-second spot rolled out in waves across the country.
It's going crazy!
Starting a groundswell of conversation with viewers forced to either pause
What is this?
or go online to make sure what they just saw was real.
Reddit actually did it. I really thought that Reddit users hacked CBS.
My mom still thinks Time Warner broke.
As far as Super Bowl, I really like when Reddit did.
Many on Twitter even regarding this as the best Super Bowl ad of all time.
The commercials read at the end, powerful things happen when people rally around something they really care about.
It was a good idea to take advantage of the interest around Reddit to get more people using all kinds of Reddit.
All in all, the ad was covered by over 300 news outlets, earning 6.5 billion impressions. And we not only crashed the Super Bowl, crashed too. Site traffic spiking as much as 25%. Even the subreddit in our ad, which is actually Superb Owl, soared 1,000%. And we were the most searched ad of Super Bowl Sunday. Best of all, with a little inspiration from our communities, we bet that even as an underdog, we could show up big. Like the ad said, if you're reading this, our bet paid off.
So certainly got quite a lot of attention. I am, a bit of a Reddit fan as well. We are, so much attention is paid to Super Bowl ads, which even in this country, you get a lot of coverage on. And the side thing that really occurred to me while looking at this case is Reddit, like all of the platforms, their target audience is not just their users, it is also media buyers and agencies, because they're courting brands to buy space on their platform. And through all the coverage of both Super Bowl ads and Cannes Lions, they're reaching those media buyers. So it was kind of like another aspect of a B2B aspect to this case. The next one I'm going to show you, of course, we know somebody had to do stuff about Zoom, and there's nothing like stuff about dogs to really capture some attention and capture some interesting buzz.
When America went into lockdown in spring 2020, dog shelters closed their doors to visitors too. With uncertainty over how shelters would survive, it was important to get the dogs adopted as soon as possible. But how could people fall in love with a rescue dog if they couldn't visit a shelter?
What about, though, to use Zoom to adopt a dog?
So Pedigree created Dogs on Zoom, tapping into the Zoom zeitgeist to let people meet and adopt shelter dogs from the safety of home. Pedigree partnered with 9 shelters around the U.S. and remotely trained shelter staff to set up meetings. Each week, a different shelter hosted Zoom meetings with their dogs. People could ask questions.
Great question from Isabel. Are any of these dogs good with cats?
And apply to adopt directly in the chat. The Zoom meeting was also streamed live on Facebook, and word spread around the world.
Look, if you want a dog and you're in Nashville, humane.
Working to set up adoptions via Zoom.
Looking to find the perfect pup but still can't leave your home.
It's a great thing for being able to adopt dogs.
Pedigree is setting up dog adoption.
But most importantly, people logged on to meet the dogs.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Dogs on Zoom.
9,900 Zoom attendees, 1.3 million views on Facebook Live, 7,000 adoption inquiries, and 64% of featured dogs adopted into loving homes. Dogs like Charlie, who had been in shelters for over 2 years. And it's just the start. Dogs on Zoom proved so popular, it's been adopted in other countries too.
Primeiro Dogs on Zoom.
Transforming a communications tool into an adoption tool. If only all Zoom meetings were this rewarding.
So that's just a lovely feel-good story, and you can see how that would appeal as we were in heavy lockdown at the time. Of course, the best news is 64% of the dogs were adopted, the dogs that were featured, but millions of media impressions. And I think this is an example of something that makes sense, something that is a wonderful way to express Pedigree's commitment to rehoming dogs. So this is the kind of lion winner where it's really within the realm of all brands to kind of think of things like this, because the combo of dogs and Zoom just sort of makes sense. It's a bit of a, maybe a duh, but they did it, and they did it in a beautiful way that really worked. I am happy to continue the animal theme because the next case is called Bee Influencer. And this comes from a charity in France. And it does use a lot of savvy about how social works, how people engage with things, the whole concept of influencer or creator marketing. And it takes it to a different place in a wonderfully attention-getting way for a very, very important and good cause.
But now an insect is taking advantage of Instagram to help save her species. Meet Bee. She touts herself as the first ever bee influencer, and her mission is to help save bees, donating the money that she earns from ad revenue on Instagram to the Bee Fund. It's a French charity that helps protect bee colonies from dying out. As you can see, she keeps her page populated by taking plenty of different selfies, all for a great cause.
The more followers, the more sponsored posts, the more money to save bees. It's a very simple fundraising mechanism on Instagram, never done before, and it actually worked.
Brand's response was enthusiastic. At Christmas, Bee was even asked to be the official ambassador of the most iconic department store in Paris, Galeries Lafayette. Thanks to all of this, we collected over 150,000 euros to finance important projects to save bees. And with Bee Fund, we will finance many more.
Elle s'appelle
Eine Bee-Influencer.
Bee-Influencer.
Influencer vient juste de mourir des pesticides, laissant des milliers de cœurs brisés.
So that was pretty dramatic end to that particular campaign. But you can see some of the numbers here. If you have any thoughts on this, throw them in the chat or think about how you would have judged this case, maybe if you were on the Cannes Lions jury, or if you, alternately, if you had this charity as your client, how do you view this campaign? I think the use of social is super great. It's also a nice reminder that the phenomenon of influencer marketing, actually, you don't have to just pay people who have a large following, Instagram models, etc., those types. You can invent your own. You can invent something that's core to your brand or core to what you want to express. And that actually gets followers and is very interesting to people as well. We've all seen some of the CGI, Little Michaela and other Instagram stars, but part of that aspect, especially for this case, is the craft in it. The beautiful way they executed this was very impressive. Any questions? I am going to move on. My trend number 2, which is Stronger Together. This is a huge thing that not just this year, but especially this year, we see more and more is both brands partnering with other brands or partnering with different organizations, making coalitions. It's a phenomenon that I think is super interesting and very powerful. And this case really captured me. I thought it was brilliant, and I thought it was a way to do something very different at a very leadership level. And you'll see it when we play the video, but Molson did something that brought all Canadian beer brands together. So that is a true sign of a leader. They're not just talking about their own product. They're not just concerned about their own sales. They were standing up for something bigger, and that was across all of Canada.
The number one selling beer in almost every country is a beer brewed in that country. Unless that country's Canada, where the number one selling beer is American. How did this happen? Money. Big US money. American beer brands spend boatloads of money on advertising in Canada, especially during our national pastime, hockey. And it turns out that spending money works. So, as the beer with the country's name on it, Molson Canadian decided it was time to bring some collective pride back to this beer-loving nation. Introducing the most Canadian beer case ever. Our beer and our competitors' beer from all across Canada, sold in the same case. The campaign launched 10 days before Canada Day with an open letter from the Molson family. On social, we reached out to our competitors and asked Canadians to do the same. In just 9 days, over 40 brewers had joined the cause. From legal agreements to figuring out complicated supply chain logistics, everything was done in real time and ready to go before Canada Day. And then we actually started selling a case of beer full of brands that weren't our own. Canadian beers that were fighting it out for every slice of market share were now in the same case with a simple ask. Make it Canadian. Any Canadian. Everyone wanted a piece of the Canadian case. Like this national hero. And this beer-loving Olympic legend. Remember him? And as more people got their case, more people started talking about the campaign. From coast to coast, across Canada, and beyond. Sales increased 16% since the launch of the campaign, and not just for Molson Canadian. All the participating breweries saw an increase to their bottom line. And with Molson Canadian's share of voice up from 15% to 70%, it overtook Budweiser for the first time in 4 years. Cheers to that.
So I think it's very impressive with the sales and the other numbers, the other results numbers. But really, you have to applaud Molson for taking a view of not just their own individual brands, but across the country. Any thoughts or comments? Please do throw them in the chat. I think it would be fair of me to give Budweiser a little time. So I did, because this case is something that's been really it's such an interesting topic, which is the gap of not just the pay gap in women's sports, but the sponsorship gap. And Budweiser, who is a big sponsor, took a look at this, and they, instead of saying, oh, great, our share of voice, so to speak, in that sponsorship place is bigger, they said this is wrong and should change, and we're going to encourage other brands. And that's what they did.
Despite the United States having the best women's soccer in the world, female players are still paid 12 times less than their male counterparts. On the surface, the issue was gender discrimination, but a closer look revealed that the issue was also economic. In 2019, the men's MLS had 8 times more sponsors than the women's NWSL. And as one of the only 3 NWSL sponsors, Budweiser wanted to change that. So, in order to close the pay gap, we had to address the sponsorship gap. Budweiser introduces the future official sponsors of the NWSL. We made placeholder products for 9 of the biggest sponsorship categories in sports, everything from toiletries to timepieces. We used global soccer icon Megan Rapinoe to promote these products as if they were real, so brands could see what sponsoring the NWSL would look like. This work drove to an online marketplace where fans could pledge to purchase these products and then share on social by tagging the brands they wanted to see fill the vacancy. starting a real conversation between fans and brands, showing potential sponsors the power of sponsoring the league. And by the time the 2020 season started, 6 new brands joined Budweiser as official sponsors of the NWSL. This campaign started to close the sponsorship gap and increased the NWSL salary cap by almost 20%. We no longer have to imagine what the future of women's soccer will look like, because the future is officially here.
So I was really happy to see this case because I honestly believe that sponsorship is one of the keys to making women's sport more prominent, not just in the USA, but in the UK and all around the world. So I'd be interested in any thoughts or comments. I think, oh yeah, that's a great comment. It says that the campaign shows a strong sense of empathy, and that word is such a great word and is really, really true. So I would definitely be pledging to buy these products. So I kind of wish I had seen this campaign when it was running, but I am happy to catch up with it and see it once it won a Lion. Now, I see, Tracy, that you're in the webinar. I think you've seen this one because we did it the other day, but fun enough to see again. Wonderful and very unexpected partnership. So this is a case of 2 brands getting together, being stronger together, and doing something that really engaged their common target audience.
Iconic collaborations have a way of taking pop culture by storm. Snoop and Martha, Jordan and Pippen, Billy Ray Cyrus, and this guy. You get the idea. So when Elf Cosmetics and Chipotle became 2 of the hottest brands on TikTok, we thought, why the else not? And created the most unexpected brand collab of the year.
So you guys know what the Chipotle looks like when you go in, right? There's like this deal on the counter. It looks just like lettuce, salsa, salsa.
Wow. Elf X Chipotle.
Today we're going to be talking all about the Chipotle eyeshadow palette.
I'm sure you guys have seen this going around all over YouTube because social media.
This is definitely a collab that I never saw coming.
Wait, they launched a makeup brand?
Okay, let's back up. The Chipotle line is one of the most iconic parts of the brand. More than a few Gen Z customers have compared it to a makeup palette. So we launched a collaboration that Gen Z couldn't stop talking about. And people went OMG.
I heard shots in the noise, move too quick, can't stop for the talking. I heard shots in the noise.
This is a makeup bag. This is so fun and smart. ELF and Chipotle, I want to eat you and wear you.
My look is inspired by Chipotle guacamole.
The eyes look great, the lips look great, the face looks great.
We activated influencers, added an Ice Chips face bowl to the Chipotle app, and even sold the product on Gen Z Hype Shopping Channel Network. The collaboration was instantly iconic, earning Elf and Chipotle 4 billion impressions in the press, 200 million impressions on social, and more than 5 million engagements. The product sold more than 8,000 units in under an hour, then sold out and hit eBay, where it began reselling at a 500% markup.
So move over, smoky eye. Hello,
Iconic collaborations have a way.
So that's super fun and a lot of success. Of course, they love to be reselling for big bucks on eBay. I just love when there's something unexpected, but it really comes from an organic kind of, it's a great way to listen. And people were comparing that Chipotle line to a makeup palette, and that sparked the idea. So it's a wonderful example of paying attention to your target audience and then seeing what other brands, non-competitive brands, are actually talking to that same audience as well. The third thing we're going to talk about today is about not just technology for its own sake, but how technology can help make that story better or add to that narrative. And there's a couple examples. This one actually has a bit of a partnership angle in it as well, but it's a triple gold lion winner, some silver, some bronze, and a wonderful example of thinking maybe beyond your core audience. And with all gaming things, the sort of perception is it's just super hardcore first-person shooter fans, but it's not. And there's other ways to kind of think about it.
We've been producing travel guides for locations all over the world for the past 40 years. For the first time ever, we have merged the travel market with the gaming market.
Each chapter is dedicated to one of these gaming worlds. Things not to miss, spots that you really shouldn't go into this world without seeing. Things like currency and accommodation. So it allows people to use these games as a way to explore and not just as a game.
This place is so nice.
We live so far apart, we go on dates in games.
Airlines are cancelling flights.
Now is just not the time to be flying.
I'm holidaying in Assassin's Creed.
I can travel without leaving the house.
Sea of Thieves has no travel restrictions.
Where should I head?
Oh, do you want to know about the top 5 statues in Assassin's Creed Odyssey?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
So that's really a wonderful way to think about and look at gaming differently. It does quite a lot of great tactics that are part of this full campaign. You can see that they launched at London's biggest travel show, which would have been super fun kind of to see their booth and to experience it. And they really ticked so many boxes to make this successful. I don't know if any of you are gamers, but the quality and the craft is so high. Again, as they said in the video, it can really be a place to experience some wonderful sights. Now, I am unabashedly happy to say I've got another one that is about dogs, but because I thought it would be pertinent, I know a lot of us, we have to pay a lot of attention to GDPR rules, and there's different things brands cannot do. Probably it's good that they can't really be tracking people, but as Pedigree sort of uncovered, there's nothing in the rules about dogs.
GDPR stopped the unauthorized use of data to track people, but it said nothing about dogs. Pedigree Dentistics presents Dogvertising. At a time when rival brands were eating up our market share, our media innovation boosted sales of Pedigree's oral hygiene treat by nearly 30%. We used machine learning and facial recognition software to build an algorithm that identifies the presence of dogs in video and applied it to the live video stream from cameras built into Croatia's network of out-of-home screens. Our Dentistics copy was automatically triggered when fur, wagging tails, or 4 legs were detected, meaning the ads only ran when people walked their dogs towards the site. delivering 100% relevance with every impression. We further enhanced our approach with dynamic creative optimization. Our algorithm also decoded the size of dog walking past, so beagles and their owners would see ads designed for small dogs, while German shepherds and their owners would see ads for large dogs. The results? We detected the presence of dogs with an accuracy of 99.8%. Average dwell time in front of our ads was 13.5 seconds, 4 times higher than any other pedigree campaign. A 34% reduction in cost for each actively viewed ad. Regional testing showed dogvertising produced a 29% uplift in sales, increasing to 106% when used in proximity to stores. But most importantly, we helped our furry friends maintain their healthy teeth.
So that's just a great example of something that couldn't be done without the technology that we have today. But it's a way kind of to have a little playful fun in terms of the rules, the GDPR rules, but also be very relevant because people walking dogs, of course, are exactly who Pedigree wants to talk to. Now, here's our last case we're going to cover. And again, this one is a Grand Prix, so we're sort of bookended some of the other cases. And it is about Tinder, by Tinder, and won the Entertainment Grand Prix, which is a pretty high accolade.
With over 43 billion matches to date, Tinder is the world's most popular social platform for meeting new people. But over time, it became passive and mindless. It was time to reinvigorate the power of the swipe.
Yeah, this Tinder just announced that it will be making its own
interactive adventure called
Swipe Night.
Swipe Night.
Swipe Night.
The company announced
You guys seen this?
Swipe Night is a first-of-its-kind interactive miniseries that reimagines the way people can connect on a social media platform. It's Sunday night and you open Tinder, but instead of swiping on people, you swipe to make split-second decisions that reveal your true colors. Like, do you ignore him or help him?
What the hell are we supposed to do with these?
Steal Rico Nasty's ride or ask for a ride? Do you save the puppy or the person? Every swipe moves you forward across thousands of potential branching storylines, and your choices are used to pool you with more compatible people and serve as icebreakers once you match.
Did you save the person or did you save the puppy? This says a lot about your personality.
Produced and engineered to live only on Tinder, we integrated streaming video into the app for the first time.
Wow.
It is only available on Sundays from 6 p.m. to midnight, getting users online all at once swiping together. Millions of young people tuned in each week. That's higher viewership than hit TV shows like Euphoria, SNL, Atlanta, and The Bachelorette.
Oh my God.
Your favorite show may be on Netflix, or it may actually be on Tinder.
They just announced that they're going to be rolling this out internationally in 2020.
Swipe Night didn't just increase engagement, it reimagined one of the world's biggest social media platforms by using storytelling to foster more meaningful connections. Without getting too serious.
God, he was annoying.
Okay.
For 43.
So, any thoughts on that one? That is a wonderful example of using your own platform in a different way to get people re-engaged with it. What I also think is quite smart on their end, but nice to see them doing it, is they're going to have a second season. They're extending this campaign and offering up yet a new version, which is going to be a murder mystery. So you just think this could be so fruitful in terms of different ways that they could execute out on this. Basically, it's an entertainment strategy and using that platform to get more folks on swiping left and right. So I would love to hear any of your thoughts or your comments. I am happy to answer questions to the best of my ability, or really just, you could just type in which of those examples was your favorite or something that you hadn't seen before and was really surprising or interesting for that reason. Yeah, it's hard. I know if we are not all on camera together, but if there are no questions or comments, I'll just say, thank you so much. Yeah, the Tinder was creative and smart of them, definitely, to provide this new novelty to have people open the app and use the product. Totally agree. Tracy and I agree. I love anything with dogs. Tracy does too. So I actually stopped myself. I had a third case that was revolving around dogs. And then I just said, I really need to branch out. And I selected something else. Any last comments? If there's anybody that has questions or wants to, comment on these things, of course, you can always reach out on Twitter or whatever. I will say that the PRCA, I'm the co-chair of the PRCA Digital Group, and we do these webinars quite often. We will be having some of the platforms as speakers. Not too long ago, we actually did one with Reddit. So I am, happy for them. They won the Grand Prix. And we did one with Pinterest, and we've got some upcoming ones with some other platforms. So please do stay tuned. And I hope to see you on one of the other webinars. And Sophie, thanks for the comment. And yeah, I really enjoyed sharing these. So I'm glad you enjoyed as well. Thank you, everyone. See you next time.